Wife was caught cheating on me with multiple co-workers of mine over the span of 4 years. Now, I don't know what to do. We have been together since 2015. High school sweethearts from a small town. We've had our ups and downs, as all relationships do. I've always been faithful. Worst I ever did was text another person without her knowing, and I ended up telling her, even though nothing out of line was ever said. We got married in 2020 and had our first kid the same year. In 2021, through financial hardships, bouncing around job to job, trying to find somewhere we could stay afloat, I ended up driving a local delivery truck with insane hours. Being gone a lot, not being able to help with our child took a toll on her, and right after our child's first birthday, I caught her Snapchatting another guy married, of which I worked with. She'd been talking to him for weeks, leaving the house alone for random reasons any chance she got, and find my iPhone would take her to a random location where she'd sit for about 30+ minutes each time and refuse to answer texts or calls until she left with no explanation. We worked through that painfully, but managed. In 2023, we had another child. Months after we were hanging out with a friend of mine that I worked with, also married, we rode dirt bikes together and let our children, who were relatively the same age, hang out. Caught her Snapchatting him also. On Father's Day, I took my brother and our youngest child out for a small ride on our Honda Pioneer. While I was gone, my mother had our second child, so my wife ran to the store alone. Find my iPhone again revealed her in an odd location for about 20-30 minutes. I began calling her to get no answer until after she had left and drove away from the area. She claimed Find My iPhone was incorrect about her location and that her phone wouldn't connect to her vehicle, so she wouldn't answer until it did. Here we are, 2024, 3 children in the mix now. The Monday the week before the 4th of July, I was called out of work shortly after arriving on evening shift around 6 p.m. No explanation, just that I needed to come home. Turns out that Friday and Saturday night, she'd been sending 2 of my other married coworkers nudes and was caught by one of their wives. This woman and my wife got into a physical altercation, and my wife wanted to tell me herself before this other woman did. She then admitted that she'd sent nudes to the aforementioned men above from previous years. She swears she's never done anything in person with these guys. She talked dirtier to them than she ever has to me though. As a 24-year-old coal miner, I've dedicated my life to making money for my family and letting her be a Sam. I told her after this one I wanted a divorce. She begged and pleaded that I give her one more chance. She called her Obgyn, saying she thought her postpartum depression was giving her thoughts of self-harms, and told them she'd had an affair. They called her in, and now she is taking Zoloft and doing telemed therapy appointments weekly. She has basically insisted over and over again that if I left her, she'd end herself. She's not had an easy life, and I understand depression, anxiety, and trauma will make you do crazy things. But I have no possibility of ever being able to trust another word she says to me. She wants to fix things, and I've been doing my best, but I feel alone. I don't know what to do anymore. I've just dumbed myself to the feelings and work my life away volunteering at work for extra hours. What can I do to help myself? What should I do to continue? What would you do in this situation? Thanks for any input. Update. Original post was a little over a week ago. Told her multiple times she had one more chance to tell me literally everything, and she promised me it was. I didn't believe her, so I done more digging myself and found out she had in fact met at least one of these guys in person at least once, and that was enough for me. She swears up and down all she did was sit in his truck for 15 minutes, then he left. But what sense does that make? We began our divorce filing on Friday morning. She agreed to do an uncontested divorce. That way, we can just get this over with quicker. Thank you to all who gave me plenty of advice. It was very helpful, especially the guy who told me it was pathetic. I was a pussy, and it was partially my fault because I let this happen so many times before I left her. That was an eye-opener for sure. She did leave the house early Thursday morning, claiming she was going to go lil herself, but then came back home about 3 hours later. I know she really doesn't care all that much about it, because she's at a bar with her friends right now and told me she's trying to find a man. And she's still blaming me for all of this because I didn't listen to her enough. So it's definitely done now, no turning back. Brighter days ahead for sure. She keeps the house and my truck. I keep our second house and my work truck. 50-50 it's custody with the kids. Can't wait to finally get out in the world and learn how to actually live my life.